You're listening to On Fire Concerts Artist Interview of the Month series with your host, Ron Johnson.
Hey folks, it's Ron with On Fire Concerts, and I am here today with a lady that needs no introduction, but just a little bit. She's a 55-year member of the Grand Ole Opry, has performed on the Opry 5,200 and something times.
Yes.
Has her own radio show on Willie's Roadhouse, SiriusXM, Sundays with Seely.
Mm-hmm.
And she's a doctor on top of all that with a honorary doctorate degree from
Lincoln Memorial University down in Harrogate, Tennessee.
Well, thank you so much for being with us.
Well, thank you for inviting me by. It's always great.
I'm sure that there's going to be something I missed with the amazing career that you have. But we've got a special thing we want to talk about here shortly. But 55 years on the Grand Ole Opry.
Yeah, you know, Ron, it's amazing. The time has just gone by so fast. And it's weird to me because when I think of something that's over 50 years ago that happened, or 50 years old, I mean, that looks one way. But my time at the Opry, it's like, where did it go? It just goes by so fast.
And to perform more than anybody in history on the Grand Ole Opry, that's got to be an honor that you couldn't. I wouldn't have never imagined. Anybody would have ever imagined that.
Well, you know, and that wasn't a goal that I tried to do. It just happened. I think one of the reasons, back years ago when all my peers, the other girls at the Opry, like Pruitt and Jeannie Shepherd and Dottie and Jan Howard, all of Connie, they all had young children, and I didn't. So I always volunteered to work holidays and special times so they could be home. And also, back in the early days, the management didn't pay that much attention to all the female singers, so we didn't ever call the office, or we just call each other and say, hey, I got a sick kid or something, can you cover for me? And that's what we did. So.
Well, you know, the amazing thing to me as a country music, and I grew up on traditional. I love the Gene Watson country music.
Absolutely.
You know,
and he's still making some of the
I've got
best.
Gene coming up in April.
Oh, good.
And I have had him the last 3 years in concert. And Gene's amazing. But you, I mean, 55 years, and when you watch Jeannie Seely on the stage at the Opry, you get the impression that, well, you do, it's obvious. You love it now as much as you ever did.
I probably love it more, Ron, than I ever did. I think as with a lot of things, the older we get, the more we appreciate what it is we've had the opportunity to do. And I remember years ago, it's been many years ago now, I caught myself saying, somebody asked me about doing something, and I said, I can't, I have to do the Opry. And somewhere it hit me, and I thought, no, you don't have to do the Opry.
Right.
You get to do the Opry. And so I changed my attitude real quick about that.
And this, as a person to watch it, there's a lot of younger artists now on the Opry, which we all realize it evolves.
It has to be.
It has to evolve. But you just hope, or I do, that they realize the true meaning of what that is.
Right. And I like to, you can tell the young artists coming in, the ones that were exposed to the Opry and traditional country in their homes growing up. And some of them weren't, and it's not their fault that they don't get it. But when I realized that, I like to try to spend a little extra time with them if I can, and try to get across the point that the Grand Ole Opry is not just another concert venue. It's not just another concert. It is something all its own, and it's an American institution that we should be very proud of.
You know, I have been backstage, fortunate enough to go backstage a number of times, and every time I go backstage, I just think, and I'm just a promoter, but somebody invited me, but I think as an artist, I can't even begin to imagine how special that would be.
It's very
Come in the artist
special.
entrance and see that as an artist.
Mhm.
But to be, like I said, the thing that I admire and that I've realized is that Jeannie Seely loves it today as much as she ever did. And
My goal when I walk out there is I look at that wonderful house full of people, and I'm very well aware of what it took for them to be there. You know, most of them are from out of town. They've had to work hard, save a lot of money. It's expensive
Yeah,
to come
it is.
here and make the trip here and the expenses to stay here and come. So and nobody wants to do all that to see somebody unhappy.
Yeah.
So even if I wasn't happy, I would pretend I was, because I owe it to those people.
You want the fans to enjoy it.
Absolutely, that is my goal.
And that's the thing, as a, I tell people as a promoter, my main goal is, of course, take care of the artists and give the fans a show.
Exactly.
And that's
Make
what
them glad they came.
That's what I want to do.
Say.
And just, the Opry, I know, loves you, and we love you as fans.
Well, thank you,
And,
Ron, I appreciate that.
So, tell us just briefly about your honorary doctorate degree.
Well, Lincoln Memorial University is where my husband went to college before he went to UT Law School. And so we would go down there for homecoming and the different things going on. So that's how I got familiar with the school and got to know all of the people there and realized what country music fans they are, and also Grand Ole Opry fans. The president of the university listens to the Grand Ole Opry religiously, as most of them do down there. So they were aware of me, but then got to know better through Gene. And so anyway, Gene and my husband's Gene Ward, and Gene and talked to them down there and got that worked out. I was just so thrilled, and it's an honor I never dreamed of having. I couldn't afford to go to college, so this is very special to me.
The honorary doctorate of arts degree. If anybody deserves a doctorate of arts degree, it's Jeannie Seely. So,
thank you.
one other thing I've got to mention, and then I seen recently when Garth Brooks was at Nissan Stadium.
Yeah.
I got Jeannie Seely was out there with.
No, is that crazy?
That is the respect that Jeannie Seely deserves.
Well, I thank you. Garth wanted a representative of the Opry, a representative group, so I was really happy to be out there, and Larry Gatlin. And
that was amazing.
Yeah. And somebody said, were you nervous out there with that huge crowd? And I said, I was too excited to be nervous.
And then you follow that up with CMA, which CMA should have done that. But that was amazing too.
Yeah, I laughed. My friend Roxanne Atwood, probably know.
Roxanne,
Yeah,
yes.
Roxanne and Tim. Roxanne said, standing between Peyton Manning and Luke Bryan, you look like the Bat building sitting over there. But they were so fun to hang with. It was just great.
That would have had to be a thrill, and like I said, it's the representative of the Opry. Who else could you ask but Jeannie Seely?
Well, and of course I went off script. I haven't heard anything bad from it yet. But I'm standing back there, and the script started with, this next artist has won 14 CMA awards, and I thought, they don't know that I got to introduce her when she made her debut on the Opry. They don't know that. They can't know that. But we've just been talking about me representing the Opry, and I thought, I'm just going to say it. So that's why I said, I just have to tell you, But I remember when Miranda first came in the Opry that night, just so young and so talented, just unbelievable.
It's amazing to see the reaction of some of the artists when they're told they're asked to be a member. such as your friend and mine, Rhonda Vincent.
Oh, mercy.
And
That
Rhonda, I thought
picture
was,
of her.
I thought Rhonda
Said,
was,
are you serious? One of my favorites.
I told Rhonda, we were right about that time, and like you may know, but I promoted a lot of shows, and Rhonda was, we had coming up at the time, and then COVID hit.
Right.
And then it got put off a year, and she said, now you go out there and you can say the newest mix.
Yes, holds the record for the longest period between when you were invited and when you actually got to do it.
She's a sweetheart, though.
Oh, she's amazing, yes.
So you've got a thing coming up on December the 10th at the Troubadour Theater here on Music Valley. And by the way, let me just say real quick, we are here in the beautiful Willie Nelson Museum.
Yes.
They are gracious enough to let us do these, and we are in front of Jeannie Seely's display in the museum.
Thrilled.
So if you're in Nashville, you've never been to the Willie Nelson Museum, come out and check it out, because they've got displays of everybody, and that you would just thoroughly enjoy this. But I have to say that, because we're sitting in front of Jeannie Seely.
I'm so honored to be represented in here, and yes, this is one of the best kept secrets as far as I'm concerned. It is a wonderful museum, very well put together, very thoughtful.
And great folks that run it, and it's amazing. But on December the 10th, at the Troubadour around the corner, Midnight Jamboree.
We're so glad to be bringing the Midnight Jamboree back.
Back to the Troubadour, and
yes,
that's amazing. And I'm thanks to the Troubadour and Randall and everybody over there, Rodney over there to do that. But you've got to think of Santa Paws.
Santa Paws is coming to town. Yeah. We started this a few years ago. I can't remember exactly what triggered it, but I remember wanting to do something more that year. I had done the angel tree and done these things, and I thought, you have the time and resources, what else can we do? And I looked around and I felt like we were taking care of the seniors, we were taking care of the children and all, and I thought, and we need to look about the pets. And it's not just the animals, it's the caregivers. Those people are so dedicated and they work so hard, and sometimes they work with very little to work with.
Right, and I know we have my wife and I, we have a poodle. We've been married 17 years, so he's 17 years old, which is past what they normally,
yes.
But if she moves, he moves. But he just lets me know when he wants to go out.
There you go. That's your job.
That's my job. He knows that. But they become their family. I mean,
absolutely. They should be. I have no regard for the people who don't look at them like that.
Well, I learned then, back 7 years ago, my wife was diagnosed with cancer. Went through breast cancer, 5 years, 6 years now in submission, thank goodness. But you could tell he laid right there by her every day through all that, and knew that she was sick.
Absolutely, they know.
But you realize that, and then the rescue animals that have to be rescued, they need all the help they can get.
Right. Well, we decided last time, we didn't do it last year, but the last time we did it, we got a horse trailer full of stuff. And I like to tell people, we know money's tight every year at this time of year. This year with inflation, it's even worse. But if you can't afford to go buy something or give a monetary donation, everybody has old towels, blankets. Just wash up those old things, and even sweatshirts, if you're clearing out, because they cut those up and make beds, and those things are needed as well. So there's always something you can do. And it's amazing, too, how many people, when they get new leashes or collars or beds or dishes or whatever, just throw them away. And I'm like to get the message out, don't do that. Just clean them up And this is what we're doing now, but it can happen all
Year-round.
year
Yes,
round.
yes, it
It
can.
is needed.
There's a number of people you can contact for that.
Exactly, and you mentioned having your own dog being 17. We decided this year, before we did it, we split it between Metro Animal Control and the Humane Society. But a friend of mine, Stacy Britton, who's helping so much with this, she got acquainted with the people at the Old Friends Senior Dog Sanctuary. And they're all the older dogs that they will take in and let them live out their lives as happily as they can. It's a wonderful place.
That I didn't realize
Yeah.
existed. A lot of people probably don't.
Right. It's here in Mount Juliet, just on the outskirts of Nashville, and it's a wonderful facility, and they get no major funding. So we decided that would be, I guess because we're all getting older, we're thinking about those pets getting older too, and the care they
And
need.
it costs to take care of those. And
Yes.
people, it's amazing at the things that people, it's like, as an example, it's like the caregiver for the pets will buy things out of their pocket to do
Oh,
it.
yes.
And they shouldn't have to do that.
Right.
And we can help year round.
We can.
So, and if I'm correct, from today, December the 5th through the 10th, you can bring stuff to the troubadour?
Yes, they've
I think that's
accepted
correct.
that. I hope
Yeah.
they did anyway, yeah. If you have time, just swing by. And of course, we would love to have you come to the show because it's all Christmas. If you don't particularly like country music, well, you still can come to this because we have a little country edge to it, mind you, but it's all Christmas music this time with some special guests. I decided we're doing it for senior dogs, and it's Christmas and kids and dogs all go together. So I planned some young guests on the show. Tia Goins is going to be there.
She's amazing too.
She is an amazing talent and such good people. And she rescued a little kitten that she named Seely, so we'll be talking about that. And also she's bringing her little niece, Wrigley, who's like 7 or 8 and sings. She's great. And then Cutter and Cash Singleton up in Hodgsonsville, Kentucky, the Lincoln Jamboree.
Right,
You might
right.
know those kids. They're bringing their group, Classy and Grassy. down
Okay,
to
I've heard of
Brixton
them. I've
Bluegrass.
never worked with them, but I know who they are.
Yeah, they're amazing. Fabulous young men. Cutter just turned 15, and I swear he's an old soul. He's one of us, Ron. He's great. So we're looking forward to that. Of course, I'm going to feature Tim Atwood. He'll be playing piano, but
Tim
we'll
is
give
an amazing
him
musician.
Oh, what a great entertainer.
People don't, he played for years on the Opry as musicians, but it's entertaining, and
Yeah.
just, you can tell there again, he's one of them that you watch him entertain and just know he loves what he's doing.
Exactly, and for years when I worked with Tim at the Opry, I would go across town to where he was working just to enjoy him,
Right.
and I always thought, he's sitting back here, he needs to be up front. So he's finally doing that now, and he's doing so well. So we'll be featuring Tim, and also Danny Davis, my bass player, is going to
Roxanne and I have talked a lot of times about getting Tim. I do a lot of shows out in a little place called Bell Buckle. And but we do make Manville and all over Middle Tennessee, but Tim we'd love to have.
Yeah.
So, but folks, if you can come out on December the 10th,
Right.
and what time does it start?
Well, we do a warm-up show now, and Keith Bilbrey will be there doing the warm-up
Oh,
show.
okay.
Normally, Marcia Campbell does the warm-up, and the Opry's doing 2 shows Saturday night, and so Marcia's going to be there dancing, so I called Keith Bilbrey. And actually, when I put this show together, I kind of patterned this warm-up show after Keith Bilbrey's old warm-up show prior to the Opry,
Oh, okay.
which we all miss. So we're looking forward to catching up with Keith again. And also, that starts at 9:30. And then we'll go to live to the stage at 10 o'clock, and it's 10 to 11.
And then it'll be played back on WSM and.
We're recording, and it's not the same night. Unfortunately, it won't air till next week.
Next
But
week.
we'll get some kinks ironed out, and we'll be able to do that in real time. But it also gives you a chance to listen in, and WSM 650 and also WSM online.
Well, we're looking forward to that. And folks, come out to the Troubadour, December the 10th, 9:30, 10 o'clock, Miss Jeannie Seely. And you'll see a cast of the lineup. It's going to be a great lineup for a great cause. Santa Paws coming.
Coming to town. And I like to use this too, since we are on the air and you're giving us opportunity to reach out to people. Maybe you can't do a show in your area, but you can kind of, remind people to donate and to think about these facilities.
And these, the facilities for these pets, they if you reach out to them and you have something you want to give, it'll get there.
Yes, and they're so grateful. These people are so dedicated and work so hard.
And you can't find a better cause. So December the 10th, Troubadour Theater, Music Valley Drive, 9:30. Jeannie Seely will be on at 10 with her show. And Jeannie, I just want to say again, I am just blown away to be able to honor the interview with Jeannie Seely.
I thank you, Ron. Thank you so much.
We have done a lot of interviews over the years, and we just appreciate it. Thank
Well,
you
good.
so
I
much.
appreciate you too. Thanks for what you do for us.
Well, thank you, and until next time, don't forget, December the 10th, Troubadour Theater, Nashville. Thank you, Willie Nelson Museum, and we'll see you next time.